Hello everybody, welcome to the Analyst by Vajiram and Ravi dated 24th May 2026, where we would try to comprehensively analyze 7 articles in 2 different sections along with your daily mains answer writing program. In the analysis part, we will first have a comprehensive discussion with respect to the state of India's defense production and indigenization, as our defense minister recently emphasized that a nation that makes its own weapons writes its destiny. Then in the second article, we will have a discussion with respect to the Ayushman Bharat scheme, which is set to make Bengal entry after the formation of new government. Then in the prelims pointer section, we will have a discussion with respect to 5 different articles from the special perspective of your UPSC prelims exam, along with some value addition. Coming to the very first topic of today's discussion, it is regarding India's defense indigenization. For decades, India has been a net importer of defense equipments. That means in any case of war or any geopolitical conflict, we will be stranded in a position where we will be dependent upon someone else for our defense exports. For example, countries like USA, France, Russia, from where we import majority of our defense equipments. Not only defense equipments, our aircrafts, ships, a lot of things. But in the light of the recent Russia-Ukraine conflict and the US-Israel and Iran war, we have now realized the importance of defense production in our own country. Not only we have realized just through these 2 wars, but these 2 wars have further excavated this position that you should have your own defense production. You should have your own entire system so that you are not dependent on somebody else when it comes to the national security or any kind of disaster. In this context, we will see this topic. And why we are taking this topic today? Because recently, yesterday, our Defense Minister Rajnath Singh, he has said at an event that he said that a nation that makes its own weapons writes its destiny. That means our destiny of India to become a Viksit Bharat by 2047. It will also depend upon what kind of production we do in our country and how we go about our defense production. Clear? So we will talk about defense production, its exports, defense indigenization, all these things, what government is doing and what more can be done. Now, why it is relevant to you guys? It is part of GS paper 3, security. Clear? It can also be part of economy, where we can talk about defense exports, which will be helping us in the balance of payments and all those things. So coming to the background of defense indigenization, basically why we need defense indigenization and how did it all start? Well, the early triggers were seen in the year from 1950s to 70s when India went through multiple wars. First, we had a war with China in 1962, then with Pakistan in 1965, again with the Pakistan in the Bangladesh Liberation War of 1971. So these wars, they exposed the vulnerability of foreign reliance. At that time, India was heavily reliant on Russia. Although Russia is a good friend of India, old friend of India, they helped us at that time, but that showed us a feature that how exposed we are when it comes to our defense production. Then came the missile capabilities. From 1983 to 2008, the Integrated Guided Missile Development Program, it was headed by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who later on became the President of India. Because he headed this program, he led to the successful development of a lot of missile system in India. He was called the Missile Man of India also. So he successfully built the India's missile system, which include missiles like your Akash, Agni, multiple variants of Agni missile have been now created, which today form the part of intercontinental ballistic missile system of India, where we have the capabilities to hit up to 3,000 to 5,000 kilometers from India. And multiple, you had Nag missile and Trishul, multiple other missiles. Then self-reliant push came in 1992, close to when India did its liberalization reforms. Facing a low self-reliance index of 0.3, a 10-year roadmap was launched to increase the indigenous procurement content to 0.7. Basically, what this self-reliance index means, it shows that out of the entire procurement which the government does, how much is indigenously produced and how much is imported from other countries. So it was so less, it was just 0.3. Our target was to double it, around 0.7. Then came decentralized responsibilities, indigenization oversight, shifted to services and ordnance factory. A lot of work now, it was given to ordnance factory boards to produce a lot of ammunition and arms for the defense equipment. And ordnance factories did a lot of work in this regards, leading the Army and Navy to draft a 15-year perspective roadmap on the defense production and procurement. Then came the defense procurement procedure and submarine milestones. This defense procurement procedure, this was initiated in 2001 as a structural reforms where we emphasized on local production and local procurement. We basically said that out of this entire budget of defense production and procurement, some components, some percentage of components will be domestically produced, and that amount kept on increasing, that number. And the project 75, which started in 1997, it targeted self-reliance in submarine construction, which now we have almost achieved. A lot of, let's say, your nuclear powered submarines, your Arihant class submarines, they are produced in India. A lot of submarines are produced by Garden shipbuilders, the Mazagon Docks, and these players. So we are doing fairly well in shipbuilding, and you can say your submarine building. Clear? And right now, government is further giving, after submarines, government is pushing more towards the shipbuilding industry now. A lot of incentives and you can say promotion is being done to build own local ships in India for defense purposes and for commercial purpose also. Now, what do we specifically mean with defense indigenization? It basically refers to domestic design, development, and manufacturing of defense equipments. That means everything is done locally with the help of local talent and local resources to reduce the dependence on imports, basically import substitution. Whatever we are procuring from other countries, it should be produced within India. For example, how we procured the Rafale jets from France, we should create them in our own country. For example, the Tejas, light aircraft Tejas, which is being developed by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. Similarly, we have to create the modern warfare jets also. This is the budget snapshot, how much is being allocated to the Ministry of Defense. In this year, 26-27, 7.85 lakh crore has been given to the Defense Ministry, which is one of the highest. And the amount has increased from 4.5 lakh crore to 7.85 lakh crore in the last, you can say, 5 years. It's close to double in the last 5 years. That means the government is willing to spend more on the defense ministry, and that's why it will support the various programs run by this ministry also. Clear? Now, what is the need of indigenization? Why do we need it? What are the different areas where we require this indigenization? First is national security. Reduce dependence on foreign supplies during wars and crises. That means at the time of war, we cannot stand handicapped depending upon somebody else. Then strategic autonomy, basically independence from foreign decision possibilities. Right now, what Donald Trump does sometimes with India is, if you remember, I think a month back, Donald Trump gave a statement that we allow India to procure Russian oil. Now, who is Donald Trump to allow India to procure Russian oil? So this is how strategic autonomy has to be maintained. If we had enough reserves with us, if we would have been very good at domestic production of oil, if we would have been energy sufficient through solar, wind, or any hybrid projects, then we would not have heard these things from US President. Clear? Then comes the economic benefits. It saves foreign exchange. Right now, we are facing crisis of foreign exchange. That's why our PM, he requested people to not to visit foreign countries, not to buy gold and all those things. And it promotes manufacturing. With manufacturing, a lot of jobs will be created. The economy will be boosted. Then you have technological development in the form of boosting R&D and ecosystem. A lot of production, when it will happen for defense, it will have spillover effect on other industries also. The technology which we are developing, for example, the laser. Let's say the laser was developed for space, for defense. Later on, it is being now used in healthcare. So a lot of spillover technologies will be used like this. And last is employment generation. That too, high-skilled manufacturing job, not low-skilled. So these were some of the needs why we need to do indigenization. Now we look at the India's defense trade, what India is doing right now. Basically, India's share in global arms export market is minimal, accounting to just 0.2% of the entire global trade. That means we are still very small player. We have to expand a lot now. The chances, or you can say the target area, or you can say target group to capture is still a lot for us. We can gain a lot of market share in this regards. SIPRI report, basically Stockholm report, the Stockholm Institute report, it indicates that India is ranked 23rd during the period 2017 to 21 in terms of defense export. Clear? That means we are very bad at defense exports. We have the 3rd to 4th largest army, or you can say defense force in the entire world. Despite having such big defense forces, our export are so low. We are 23rd number. And India is the largest importer of arms, accounting for 11% of the global arms import during 2018 to 2022. That means export we do only 0.2%, but imports we do 11%. This shows we are such a huge defense importer along with countries like Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. Clear? So moving to the government initiatives, what steps government has taken to improve the situation? What is government doing? Basically, the Defense Procurement Policy 2016. Now, this Defense Procurement Policy, it emphasized and it empowered the Defense Acquisition Council. This Defense Acquisition Council will now have a fast-track route for acquiring weapons, and they will not be stuck in too much of paperwork. They can quickly acquire whatever they want. And then Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan in defense, Atmanirbharta, push for domestic manufacturing. Constantly it is being done, either when it comes to PLI scheme or giving other incentives and other giving land for production of defense. All these things government is promoting. And positive indigenization list. What does this list means? There are 4 or 5 positive indigenization lists have come. These are basically negative lists. What these lists says is that these are certain items which we should not procure from outside. These items, we as a country are capable of producing these items, and they are being produced somewhere. You procure them locally from domestic players. There are sometimes what happens, there are small players, small and medium scale manufacturing, which are not very well known. They are not given opportunity to produce these goods. However, they have the capability to produce this. A lot of forging companies, nowadays they are producing equipments for defense. They are not producing the entire system, but they are making small components. So positive indigenization list says that these particular items, 400, 500, 800 items, every time a list comes, it includes many hundreds of components which we should not procure and buy domestically. Ban on import of certain weapons and platforms. Then Defense Acquisition Procedure of 2020. Preference should be given to indigenous procurement. Share of domestic procurement has been increased because of these steps from 54% in 2018 to 68% now. Clear? So domestic procurement, where our share is increasing, the domestic component procurement. Then comes the IDEX initiative. It is basically an innovative step by the government, or IDEX Prime, Innovation for Defense Excellence. In this, what they does, they supports the startup, MSME and innovation along with R&D. Basically, this IDEX initiative, Innovation for Defense Excellence, a lot of startups, MSMEs, they are given chance to show their capabilities. They are supported, they are given long-term funding. Because see, one issue what happens in defense manufacturing is that for defense production, you need capital for longer time. Sometimes to achieve economies of scale, you need capital for large time, where you cannot show a result to your investors very quickly. So patient capital, generally it is called, and it is provided by the government through these initiatives. Then comes the FDI reforms, where the FDI in defense sector has been increased up to 100%. After this, what are they doing? 74% is automatic route, and then up to 100% by the permission of government, you can bring in FDI. Then 2 defense industrial corridors. These are very important. Your Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh defense corridors, these are being created. These are very important corridors. If this type of question comes in your exam, you have to draw the diagram of these corridors. See, I'll show you here. This is the Tamil Nadu Defense Industrial Corridor, and this is the UP Defense Industrial Corridor. Basically, different cities are given different specialization or different targets, that you can produce these kind of things at a particular place, and you can create cluster at that particular place. For example, in UP, 6 different cities like Aligarh, Lucknow, Kanpur, Chitrakoot, Jhansi and Agra have been chosen, where different defense components will be created, and they are kind of clusters will be created here, which will support a lot of defense production. Same is being done in Tamil Nadu, where let's say Chennai, which will be developing a lot of defense equipments, because they have capabilities of automotive, armored vehicle, precision manufacturing and electronics already present here. They will further support. Let's say what is happening, I'll tell you. Let's say if somebody is making auto components for Maruti or Mahindra or Tata. Now that person who is making auto components, they have the capability to produce equipments for defense also, for airline companies also. Now government is promoting these companies ki you not only restrict yourself to automobile, you also produce for defense equipments, you also produce for airlines, these things. This is being done. So this is a very good initiative if it is implemented properly without any corruption. Clear? Then comes the Sprint Challenge. The Sprint Challenge, it aims to integrate at least 75 new indigenous technologies and products into the Indian Navy. This Sprint Challenge basically is Indian Navy's project where they will be procuring a lot of, again, domestic products and producing also. And then comprehensive vendor development guidelines for procurement of different goods from MSMEs and small players. That these guidelines should be followed while procurement. You cannot violate these guidelines. Clear? These are some of the steps government is taking. Then comes major indigenization achievements. What we have done till now, what we have achieved. We will see the broader things. We will not go into the components. Basically, in the naval system, we have developed INS Vikrant, which is an aircraft carrier. We have developed indigenous submarines, as I told you, like Arihant class submarines. Arihant class submarines. Then in aerospace, HAL light combat aircraft Tejas by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, that is being developed. Then BrahMos missile, by together India and Russia have created BrahMos missile. We are now also exporting these BrahMos missile. Then Agni missile, Agni 1 to Agni 5. These are again having very good capabilities up to 5,000 kilometers. Apart from this, a lot of Pinaka missile system is being developed by private companies like Solar Industries, that is being promoted and exported. And in the emerging technologies, you have drone, AI-based system and cyber warfare capabilities, which are again being developed on the local scale. Clear? If you see the India's defense exports, they are at all-time high. In 2021-22, while we were exporting just 12,800 crores of defense equipments, today we are exporting more than 35 to, you can say, more than 38,000 crores of defense equipments. So this number you can remember, 38,000 crores of defense equipments. And in the near term, we have a target of 50,000 crore of defense exports. Clear? If you see this diagram, what we are supplying to other countries, for example, to Philippines, BrahMos supersonic cruise missile we are exporting. To Mauritius, we are giving advanced light helicopter. Dornier are basically your planes, surveillance planes used by Coast Guard Indian Navy. Then to France, we are exporting software and electronic equipments in defense sector. Then, although this is one issue where we are just exporting some software, and France is making an entire big system like plane out of it, Rifle, and then they are exporting back to India. So they gain much more in this system. But however, our component is increasing within the entire system. To Armenia, we are giving Akash air defense missile systems, Pinaka multi-launch rocket system, artillery guns, Swasti weapon locating radars. So we are giving missile system, radars, air defense system, and your artillery guns to Armenia. And to USA, different parts in aircraft and helicopter are being manufactured and exported from India. So we are achieving something in defense exports. But however, despite all the steps government has taken, there are certain challenges which are still persisting in the defense production. For example, technological gap, dependence on imported engines and chips. However, whatever we can do, mostly one criticism which India faces is that largely we are assembling things. We are not producing them here. Now what happens? Let's say if an AI chip has to be integrated into any equipment, that AI chip has to be brought in, imported either from NVIDIA or from TSMC from Taiwan or from Korea. Clear? So we are not producing electronics and chip things. This criticism also happens in the case of Apple mobile phones, where people say that we are just importing components from different countries and then assembling them and then exporting the Apple phones. However, slowly and steadily, I think the share of domestic manufacturing is increasing in these systems. Low R&D spending by India, limited private innovation, concerns raised over budget being below 2% of GDP, and recommendations are to increase it to 3%. Although here comes a dilemma. Government has to maintain a balance, how much it can give to defense, how much it has to use for government schemes to uplift the people. So this dilemma is also always there. Then bureaucratic delays, slow procurement process. Basically, this shows the inefficiency in the bureaucracy. Tomorrow, you guys will be the bureaucrats, so make sure you at least take care of this thing. Then PSU dominance, limited competition by the private players. However, some companies, for example, your Solar Industries. Now, don't go by the name Solar Industries, that the name might suggest that it is a renewable energy company, but this is a defense company, which is a very large company now. Pinaka rocket launcher, they are creating these things. Apart from the other countries like Data Patterns, Patent View, a lot of these companies are also working hard in Paris defense in defense manufacturing. Then you have private sector constraints in the form of an entry barrier and funding issue. As I told you previously, the funding here is required for a longer duration. It takes time to convert any production into profitable production. So that becomes an issue in India. Long-term patient capital is not easily given to the entrepreneurs. Then skill and supply chain gaps, weak defense manufacturing ecosystem. This is being taken care by the defense industrial corridor. Defense industrial corridor is specifically work for this point, but let's see how well it goes. And then achieving economies of scale is crucial. If you are producing at a small scale, it will be very difficult to become profitable. You can only become profitable when you will be producing at large economies of scale, and that requires defense export also. That requires good R&D. Only when your products are superior in quality than other countries and low in cost, only then you can export to other countries. Clear? So these are some of the challenges for which what can be the future measures for India's defense export and defense production. First is export high value system. Basically, don't just export raw material and components, produce your value added material. High value system. Focus on big ticket platforms like Tejas aircraft, Arjun tank, and your light combat helicopters. Clear? Then offer comprehensive deals, not just one-off defense. You provide service, maintenance, other things. Make it look like a package and then provide it. Package weaponry with training, maintenance to boost global credibility and product appeal. Then leverage lines of credit. Basically, these lines of credit to friendly foreign countries. These are kind of loans. For example, Philippines is a friendly country with India. If you want to purchase BrahMos missile, you do not have enough money, take loan from us. Provide us, return back the loan in small amounts. This is exactly what we are doing with developed countries. Japan has provided loan to us for building the bullet train. Same we can do for other countries also. Empower the private sector. This is most important because private sector is the one which will bring in a lot of innovation, efficiency, and they'll be at the forefront of defense production in future. So to boost private sector production by allocating major projects instead of just components, rather than asking them to produce components, give them entire project and make sure it is their responsibility to produce this entire project. Public-private collaboration should be there between DRDO, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, Bharat Electrics of government and all these companies. Then level playing field has to be provided to the private players without any red tapeism, without any harassment, without any crony capitalism. Strengthen defense diplomacy by establishing a dedicated defense promotion body and Ministry of External Affairs Defense Diplomacy division to coordinate global outreach. So basically, you need a separate division within the Ministry of External Affairs to coordinate with for the defense diplomacy. Secure funding. Implement a non-lapsable defense modernization fund. A fund, if you are not completely utilized this year, it will not lapse, it can move ahead to the next year. So make this kind of fund which will promote R&D. And focus on emerging warfare domains like cyber, space, AI. These are the new domains of warfare. Apart from earlier, there was only land, navy, air force. Land, water, air. These were the three domains of warfare. A fourth domain came your cyber security. Fifth domain came space. That means now missiles can be stationed in the space also. From space, let's say this can be done. We put up some missile in a satellite in the space, and without firing from ground, we can fire from the satellite to any enemy country. This can be done by any country, and AI is becoming the new domain of warfare within this fourth and fifth domain. Clear? So this is what we have to do to further produce more defense goods in India and promote their exports. Now, try this answer. Discuss the significance of defense indigenization for India, its significance for the India's national security and strategic autonomy. Make sure you write this answer. Coming to the second topic, we will see how many families in India, they are pushed into poverty, not because they are unemployed, but because someone from the family falls sick and people are just one hospitalization bill away from getting stuck into the poverty or the debt trap. Because right now the hospitalization bills have become so bloated, so expensive, so it is literally it sends a family into poverty. Now in this context, the Ayushman Bharat scheme comes into limelight. It is not merely an insurance scheme. It redefines the entire healthcare system by providing financial mechanism as an insurance on the one side and supporting the primary healthcare system to prevent disease in the first place on the other side. So in this regard, we will see the Ayushman Bharat scheme, because recently, after the formation of BJP government in West Bengal, now they will be implementing the Ayushman Bharat scheme in the state. Earlier, what used to happen, the TMC government was there, the government was not in support of this scheme because health is a state subject. So they implemented their own some other scheme which was similar to this Ayushman Bharat, but the state scheme. But now, because center and state have same government, the so-called double engine ki sarkar, so they'll be implementing this Ayushman Bharat scheme in West Bengal. In this light, why it becomes important for you? It is part of GS paper 2, not only health but also governance. Clear? So let's look at some of the basics of Ayushman Bharat scheme. What is it? It was launched in 2018 as a central sponsored scheme. Central sponsored scheme means the funding will be shared by both center and state. If it is centrally supported scheme, then entire funding would have been given by the central government. But central sponsored scheme means both center and state will be giving funding. The Himalayan states give less funding, 10%, 90% by center. But in normal states, 60% is given by center, 40% by states. The objective is to achieve affordable and universal health coverage in line with the national health policy. Clear? The components, the two major components of this Ayushman Bharat scheme is, number one, Ayushman Arogya Mandirs, and second is Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, PMJ. These Ayushman Arogya Mandirs, earlier they were called health and wellness centers, basically the primary healthcare centers, which are in the neighborhoods. Whenever you have a small issue, cold, cough, you go to these primary health clinics to get medicine. If you have some major illness, you go to secondary and tertiary specialized hospitals. So Ayushman Arogya Mandirs, they basically talk about the primary healthcare centers. And then what is the eligibility? Basically, your both rural and urban areas are covered under this. The categories, that means who is covered, who is not, is decided based upon the socio-economic caste census. And recently, all senior citizens aged above 70 have been included in this Ayushman Bharat scheme, insurance scheme. Now, what happens earlier, a family together is insured up to 5 lakh rupees under this Ayushman Bharat scheme in both public and private hospitals. But right now, what government has said, that any senior citizen above 70 years of age, they will have separate 5 lakh rupees insurance for them, which will not be part of their family insurance. So every senior citizen above 70 will be covered under this Ayushman Bharat scheme insurance. Now see, if you look here, it is the primary care, secondary care and tertiary care. These are 3 types of care which are provided in any country. The primary care includes sub-health centers, primary health centers, your community health center, very small ones. For example, in Delhi, Aam Aadmi Party started Mohalla clinics. Those Mohalla clinics were primary health centers. Then comes the secondary cares, your district hospitals, sub-district hospitals, first referral units, community health centers. Whenever a small health center says that we are not capable enough to deal with this issue, if a disease is big enough, they recommend to the secondary healthcare center, which is like a district hospital. Then comes the tertiary care, which is like medical college or state level institution. Or let's say you can Safdarjung Hospital, AIMS Hospital in Delhi. They are tertiary care. They are specialized. They have all the complex procedures within them. They can treat anything. Clear? Anything basically means jo ho sakta hai. Fine. So Ayushman Bharat focuses on primary care through Arogya Mandirs, and secondary tertiary through health insurance. Now, Ayushman Arogya Mandirs, we will look at this component in detail. Earlier, they were called health and wellness centers. There will be 1.5 lakh Ayushman Arogya Mandirs, which will be created to deliver comprehensive primary health care. Primary health care is the important word here. Okay? It is universal and free to every user. Now, what kind of services will be included in this? Your maternity care, maternal care, child health care, non-communicable disease screening, and mental health services. Although the state of mental health services in India is not so good, you rarely find any psychiatrist in these health and wellness centers. Hopefully, in future, we will get them. The focus is on preventive and primary health care. However, preventive healthcare is also missing these days. Mostly the focus is on curative things. कि एक बार बीमारी होगी, then how it can be curated rather than preventing it at the first step. Then the funding is done through the National Health Mission by the government through Ministry of Health. What are the basically comprehensive primary health care through Ayushman Arogya Mandirs? It includes expanded delivery services, continuum of care, telehealth and referrals. Telehealth, or you can say referrals, are done from these centers to higher hospitals. Expanding HR and multitasking, community mobilization and health promotion, partnership for knowledge implementation, robust IT system for maintaining records and all the things, and financing and providing payment reforms. All these things will be taken care of in the Arogya Mandirs, Ayushman Arogya Mandirs. Earlier, these were very decentralized, very disconnected. Now, an entire IT system is being created. Your records will be there, IT system will be there, funding will be given properly. So, a proper primary health centers will be maintained. The second component is Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana (PMJ), which is the erstwhile National Health Protection Scheme has been recherished, or you can say converted into Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. This is the largest health assurance scheme or the health insurance scheme of the entire world, not only India, entire world. Because anyway, we have a very large population. When you cover that much of population into any scheme, it becomes largest in the world if China is not doing something similar. The features are your 5 lakh health insurance per family per year is given. So that means after, if you use 4 lakh in 1 year, rest 1 lakh is left. Next year, it will again renew to 5 lakh. And any member from the family can use this. And any amount of members can be there in a family. There is no cap also on the number of members in a family. It covers secondary and tertiary care. Primary health is taken care by Ayushman Arogya Mandir. Secondary, tertiary from PMJ. And it is cashless treatment is also provided both in public hospitals and private hospitals. Clear? Also, families that were covered under Rashtriya Swasthya Bima Yojana but did not form part of socio-economic caste census, they are also covered in this scheme, which were earlier part of Rashtriya Swasthya Bima Yojana. Clear? What are the components? 5 lakh we have seen, and all citizens aged above 70 will be included. Seniors in Pradhan Mantri Jai family get an additional 5 lakh component, extra cover for the senior members of the family. Then 5 lakh per year to seniors without entire family is covered. Special cards for senior citizens can opt for PMJ or keep CGHS. That means different central government employees have different schemes. They can either be part of that scheme or they can be part of PMJ. I think it is good for central government employees. They remain part of CGHS and this EGHS, all these, because unlimited coverage is there. And then includes those with private or ESIC coverage also. That means if somebody from poor family it is having coverage with ESIC or private insurance, they can also be part of this scheme. Now, apart from this, there are some other initiatives to support the Ayushman Bharat which the government has started. First is your Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission. Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission. Basically, it was launched in 2021. It aims to create a digital health infrastructure for India. How? The components include your Aadhaar number, Ayushman Bharat health account number. This health account is a unique health ID for everybody. It is a 14-digit number given to each citizen. Whenever you go to a hospital, your ID will be created. That will be your Aadhaar ID. It will you can say all your health records will be maintained in this Aadhaar ID, which will be confidential. Apart from you and your doctor, nobody else can access these health records. Then Aadhaar mobile app is also there for personal health records to see whether our records they are collected at one place. Then Ayushman Bhav campaign. Ayushman Bhav campaign, it was launched in 2023. It includes Ayushman Aapke Dwar. Basically, Ayushman cards were distributed door to door to the eligible people who have not received Ayushman cards till now. Ayushman Melas were organized. That means in the primary health centers, community health centers, these Ayushman Melas for checkup and preventive health were organized. Then Ayushman Sabhas were created. These are community gatherings in villages and urban areas, these Sabhas, to make people aware of the scheme and its components. This Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission goals. What are the main goals of this digital mission? State-of-the-art digital health ecosystem has to be created. A national registries for healthcare establishment, professionals and pharmacies has to be created. That means a registry will include details of doctors, pharmacies and all the healthcare establishments, or let's say hospitals. Open standards for digital health adoption. That means the standards will be in world class. Your data will not be compromised, all those things. Personal health records will be stored in through the Aadhaar IDs. Health application will be there for sustainable development goals, and private and public sector participation and national portability of healthcare services will be there. That means this scheme is also implemented throughout the India. If you are a resident of Delhi, let's say you are living in Maharashtra or Mumbai for some time, you can avail the facilities there also, through these digital records. Clear? Now, what is the significance of Ayushman Bharat scheme? What it will do? Financial protection, reduces out-of-the-pocket expenditure. Some reports say that out-of-pocket expenditure is roughly close to 70% in India. Out-of-pocket expenditure means whenever you go for any healthcare issue or treatment, how much money are you giving from your pocket? That has to be reduced. India has historically very high out-of-the-pocket expenditure. Then poverty reduction prevents medical impoverishment. As I've told you, most of the families in India which do not have any buffer behind them, they are just one hospitalization bill away from getting into poverty. Improved healthcare access, better access to rural and poor households are being given through this scheme. Because earlier rural and poor households, they were not having good facilities. A lot of people still come to Delhi to get treatment in AIIMS, and they have to wait for 1, 2, 3 months and up to 6 months to get the surgery or treatment done. Then strengthening private primary health care, the preventive care through health and wellness centers or your Ayushman Arogya Mandirs. Preventive healthcare is being promoted through that. Digital health ecosystem has been created by Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission and ABHA IDs, all these things. Although some progress has been made in this regard, a large progress still has to be made in these regards, all these things. However, government is doing what it can on its scale. 5 lakh coverage is there. Now we'll see some of the numbers in Ayushman Bharat scheme. 60 crore beneficiaries have been covered till now. And this operations, teleconsultation, 39 crore teleconsultations, 79 crore ABHA IDs have been created. That means 79 crore different unique people have visited the government hospitals and created these ABHA IDs. 1961 medical procedures covered. 1961, roughly 2000 medical procedures have been covered under this scheme. More than 6 crore wellness sessions have been created. 42 crore Ayushman cards have been created under PM-JAY scheme. The health insurance cards, 42 crore. Now, what you can remember here is this data you can remember, this data you can remember, this data you can remember. Roughly, these are some of the important data. It becomes tough for you to remember each and every data. So, at least remember 3-4 things which you can easily. Clear? So, these were some of the achievements or significance what Ayushman Bharat scheme has done till now in the country. Then comes the challenges and some of the criticism why the states like West Bengal were not implementing Ayushman Bharat scheme. So they had a lot of reservations in their mind regarding this scheme. First is the limited healthcare infrastructure. Rural areas, they lack quality hospitals till now. Despite these schemes and despite multiple schemes, despite 70 years of independence, we still could not provide a lot of healthcare facilities into the poor areas or the rural areas. There is low public health spending. India's health expenditure is relatively low. Much lower even if you compare to the other developing countries which are of similar stature to India. Then a lot of frauds and misuse is being done for these schemes. Fake claims are created, fake IDs are created. The insurance money is taken by people and hospital by collecting together. A lot of hospitals were blacklisted because of this issue. Unnecessary procedures are done by hospitals to get insurance money. Then awareness gap is there among the people. Many eligible beneficiaries are unaware of this scheme because they are illiterate and less aware. Then exclusion errors are there. Some poor families are left out due to database limitations. Now these data issues, they are going in the country. In election times also, these exclusion errors are a lot high in India. The focus is on hospitalization. Preventive care is still underdeveloped. That means entire focus is on curative thing. How you can cure once you are sick with something by providing medicine, providing treatment. But the focus should be on preventing the health issue in the first step. Dikkat hone hi mat do. Clear? Then federalism issue. Health is a state subject. The states have the main power to decide what kind of healthcare infrastructure, what kind of healthcare facilities they have to provide in the state. This was one of the contentious issues why West Bengal was not implementing this scheme. Then variation in the state participation and implementation quality. Some state, for example, Kerala is very good when it comes to healthcare infrastructure, whereas Bihar, UP on the other side, they are among the worst performing states when it comes to healthcare infrastructure. Some states run parallel healthcare schemes, as I told you in the case of West Bengal. Clear? So these were some of the challenges and criticism provided for this scheme. Now what can be done? What should be the way forward? How this scheme can be further improved and enhanced? First, you have to increase the public healthcare spending. The government share of percent of GDP which is spent on healthcare has to be improved, just like it has to be improved in education. Both for education and healthcare, we as a government is spending very less. So strengthen the healthcare infrastructure by providing more budget. strengthen the primary health care, focus on preventive steps. पहले ही आपकी हेल्थ इतनी अच्छी हो जाए ना कि बीमारी ही ना हो. Focus on preventive steps. Better regulation has to be made to prevent frauds and overcharging by the hospitals. Tight regulation on hospitals and frequent blacklisting of hospitals has to be done so that fear is in their mind before doing any fraud with the government. Awareness campaign has to be created so that the scheme is better utilized by the one who deserve this scheme. Then data and digital integration, just like ABA IDs, further integration is required so that all your health records come at one place. It will also reduce the cost of insurance. If the healthcare summary can be created of the health issues, it is provided to the health insurance. A healthy person can get health insurance at lower cost. So real-time monitoring systems can be created and human resource development has to be done. More doctors and healthcare workers need to be sent to rural areas. Urban areas are having good infrastructure. They are having quality, best of the quality doctors. A lot of foreign people come in India to get treated in hospitals like Apollo, Max and Medanta. But in rural areas, in the suburbs, in poor areas, these private places do not open the hospital. And government do not have the capability to open hospital everywhere. But by increasing the funding, by increasing the spend, government can do this. Clear? So these are some of the steps which need to be taken to improve the healthcare infrastructure. Now, your work is to write the answer, examine the major challenges in the implementation of Ayushman Bharat scheme, suggest reforms for improving the healthcare delivery. Make sure you write this answer. Coming to the prelims pointer, the first topic is regarding the Jharia coal fires. Basically, Jharia coal fields are there in Dhanbad, Jharkhand, which are one of the major coal producing regions of India. It is also called the mineral heart of India, the Jharia or Dhanbad region. Now here what is happening, fires are being burnt in the Jharia coal fields in Jharkhand for decades now, releasing smoke and gases through the cracks in the ground. It means these fires, as you can see in the picture, look at this picture, this kind of fires are being burned in the Jharia coal fields from decades. They release a lot of greenhouse gas in the atmosphere. Now why this is happening? Because when mining is exposed, basically when cracks are created, the coal seams underneath the earth, they are exposed to the oxygen and they have low ignition temperature. When oxygen is combined, a lot of heat is there underneath the earth in the coal fields. Oxidation happens. That leads to spontaneous combustion in the coal fields, which leads to this kind of fire. And because you have a lot of coal there, through the cracks, frequent oxygen supply is also getting there. So fuel like coal and oxygen are together there, heat is there. So sustained fire goes through these cracks, or you can say these coal fields. Clear? Underground fires for smolder of decades. Now what is the issue here, that while industrial emission are subject to rigorous monitoring, the emissions from uncontrolled coal fires like Jharia, they are seldom part of global greenhouse gas monitoring. And what scientists are saying, that this year, because of high heat, because of high summer temperature, the amount of greenhouse gases that will be releasing from these Jharia coal fires, they will be much higher. Clear? So what we have to remember here from the perspective of prelims, that the location of Jharia, it is in Dhanbad district of Jharkhand. Clear? It is known for one of the world's longest running underground coal fires. This coal fire is being reported right from the year 1916. That means 110 years old this fire is. Now, what kind of coal is found there? Coking coal. It is a kind of bituminous coal. It is a bituminous coal, a high-grade bituminous coal. Basically, why it is called coking? Because when you heat or when you burn this coal in the absence of oxygen, it becomes soft, it melts, and it resolidifies into a more porous and carbon-heavy substance called coke. That coke is then used in smelting of iron ore and in blast furnaces in producing iron. So this coke is used in making steel and iron. Clear? What are the major problems because of the coal fire here? Land subsidence. The land becomes hollow from underground. That means the coal which was occupying the space of, let's say, sand, it has now been burnt, evaporated into the atmosphere. A hollow has been created which leads to land subsidence. Toxic gas emission in the form of greenhouse gases. Displacement of people because of frequent fires, it becomes hazard for humans, and loss of coal resources. These coal could have been used for energy production in India, but now they are just being wasted. What are the environmental issues? Air pollution, greenhouse gas emission, and soil degradation. Now, the perpetual burning is driven by several key factors. What are the key factors which lead to this burning and these fires? First is your spontaneous combustion, which is the main point why this coal fire happens. the high-grade coking coal with low ignition temperature, it oxidizes when it comes in contact with the oxygen and catches fire naturally when exposed to air, because air has a lot of oxygen, so it catches fire. So when this coal seams, they have high heat, they are exposed to oxygen-rich air, they catches fire, and then it sustains. Surface fissures, they are deep cracks on the ground. They act as chimney and continuous suction for the fresh air. These cracks, whatever combustion is happening there, the gas is coming out, new gas is coming in the form of oxygen, so they act as a chimney. Then you have endless fuel in the form of massive interconnected underground coal seams which provide uninterrupted supply of fuel to this fire. जब तक वो कोल खत्म नहीं होगा, फायर नहीं बुझेंगी, एंड थोड़ा थोड़ा बर्न होता है तो कोल कभी खत्म नहीं हो रहा, क्योंकि यू हैव अ ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ कोल प्रेजेंट देयर. Unscientific mining has also added to it. Historic shallow mining methods left behind unstable hollow zones that collapsed. Now, when these unstable hollow zones collapsed, a lot of small coal seams were there, the cracks were created, and this process started of spontaneous combustion. And extinguishment barriers. The immense scale and underground depth makes the fires virtually impossible to isolate or smother. That means, because of the scale of this fire, it becomes very difficult to stop it. A lot of steps are there. There are common mitigation measures to stop this fire, but they are not being useful here. How? For example, you have sand flushing. In sand flushing, what happens? Injecting a slurry of sand and water into the underground voids to cut off the oxygen supply. But how long can you do? This is a huge area. कहाँ से इतनी sand लेके आएंगे? Then the surface sealing, covering cracks, fissures, and surface openings with thick layer of non-combustible material like clay. Again, the same issue. The scale is so large that somewhere else the crack will generate. Trench cutting. Trench cutting means you cut a trench like this. Here you have for coal fires, so that this area is protected by creating a trench. So the fire will not continue right up to this place. This can be a good method. Then you have inert gas injection. You inject inert gas there, which replaces oxygen, and then it will not allow combustion to take place. And last is mass relocation. When nothing works, you have to relocate the people to save their lives. Clear? Now, these are some of the coal reserves, major coal reserves of India. For example, in Ladakh, Jammu Kashmir region, Srinagar, you have anthracite coal. A good quality coal is found here. Then in Rajasthan, Gujarat, and Tamil Nadu, you have mostly lignite coal, which is low quality, poor quality of coal. And mostly this region, which is the major coal producing region, here you have bituminous coal. Here you have lignite coal. And here you have anthracite coal, which is the best quality. Here again, you have lignite coal in these two regions. Clear? So these are the major coal producing regions of India which you should be aware of. Coming to the Jharia coal fields. Are they located in Odisha? No, they are located in Jharkhand. So these are some of the exam traps, how you can be trapped in the exam in the prelims. So they are in Jharkhand, not Odisha. Clear? Then they are famous for petroleum reserves. Again wrong, they are famous for coal reserves, not petroleum. Fires are recent phenomena. No, they are going on from more than a century now. No human settlement is affected. It is again wrong. Human settlements are affected. People are being relocated to different places. The procedure is mainly reason Jharia produces mainly anthracite coal. This is wrong. It produces bituminous coal. Bituminous coal. Clear? So these are some of the exam traps which you can face in prelims. Coming to the next topic, it is regarding the anti-terror law, the UAP, Unlawful Activities Prevention Act of 1967. In this act, why it is in news? Because recently, this Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, this particular law, it empowers the center to designate not only any organization but an individual also as terrorist. Basically, after 2019 amendment, now government earlier what used to do, अगर कोई organization है which is doing things against the country, they can be designated as terrorist organization. However, after 2019 amendment, if individual is found doing something wrong, they can also be designated as terrorist, and then they can be put behind the bars. Now, a 3-judge bench in 2021 in the K.A. Najib case, they settled the principle that under trials, that means people who are facing these laws, who are in jail facing these laws, they cannot be made to indefinitely wait behind the bars for the completion of trial, however grave the offense may be. Basically, the court in this Najib case said that government trial can take many years, let's say 10 years. So how can you put a person behind the bars for 10 years without proving he is guilty? The general principle is the person is not guilty until it is proven. But here you are putting someone behind. For example, the classic case of Umar Khalid. Umar Khalid was a student activist from JNU, then went into politics and activism. In 2020 Delhi riots, he was charged with the conspiracy. He was the mastermind of the Delhi 2020 riots in Delhi. This is what the allegation of the government. He is in the jail from last 5 years, just going through the trials. The court keep on adjourning case. The backlog keeps on happening. Every time he gets a case, the date is adjourned and for 2-3 months ahead, and he's still in the jail. Now, the government for this kind of cases says that however grave the consequences, you cannot indefinitely, 10-20 years that you can carry on a trial and the person will remain behind jail. What if the person is proved innocent at the end? And this is the case. See, look here, only under UAPA, only 2 to 6% of is the conviction rate under UAPA. Conviction rate under UAPA just 2 to 6%. That means out of 100, 97 people will walk free. Only 3 will be get convicted. Now, if that 97% people, if they are put behind bars for many years, who will be responsible for their liberty? So this is the violation of Article 28. Some people say this. So in this regard, we will see the UAPA Act and its provisions. Now, UAPA Act is the anti-terror law of India. Its objective is to prevent unlawful activities, terrorism, and secessionism from our country. Secessionism means if any area, people want to segregate an area and take it out of India. For example, let's say people of Arunachal Pradesh start a campaign and say that we will be part of China, not India. That those people who will be doing these kind of activities, they can be put behind bar in succession case by putting this UAPA Act. Who administers this UAPA Act? It is under Ministry of Home Affairs, headed by the Home Ministry right now, Amit Shah. The key feature, it allows declaring organization as terrorist organization. 2019 amendment, I told you, designates individuals as terrorists, which is the main investigation agency, NIA, National Investigation Agency. This agency basically it was created after 2008 Mumbai attacks, the Bombay attacks, which was led by Ajmal Kasab and his members. After that, NIA was created, and NIA mostly takes care of the terror-related investigations. Now, how this UAPA evolved? The UAPA Act came into light in 1967. Then you also had this Terrorist and Disruptive Activities TADA Act of 1907, which now has been repealed. Similarly, you had Makoka Act of 1999 to stop the organized crime of Mumbai, basically the underworld crimes. To stop them, Makoka Act was there. There was Prevention of Terrorism Act 2002. Now, this act has also been merged into the UAPA. And the National Investigation Agency Act 2008 was created to create this NIA, which functions under the UAPA Act. Clear? So this is how it has evolved over time. What more you need to remember? It has special powers, extended detention period. As I've told you, the person Umar Khalid has been in jail from last 5 years without the trial being completed. It might be possible that in future, the court may be proved in the court that he is innocent, and still he remained behind bars for so long. Stricter bail provisions. For example, in normal cases, what happens? Bail is the norm and jail is exception. But in this case, bail becomes very strict. And property can be seized related to terrorism. Then there are tribunals also. With the tribunals, they review the ban on organizations. If an organization claims that they have not done anything wrong, they can appeal in the tribunals. What are the criticism? Concerns over the civil liberties and misuse, basically the violation of personal liberty under Article 21. So, any under trials personal liberty can be violated. Low conviction rate is there, 2 to 6% just. And then what are the constitutional links? It is related to the reasonable restriction under Article 19. This is the explanation of government. Government says that all the liberties are not completely given to people. They are not absolute. There are some reasonable restrictions under 19 which we can apply here. Clear? So objectives we have seen: to prevent unlawful activities. The punishment can be up to death punishment in this case. What are the extraditory applications? The law is applicable to offenders even if the crime is committed on foreign soil. That means the law is not restricted to India. Remember these things. What is the centralized agency? The Act grants absolute power to the central government to designate anybody as terrorist organization and act upon them. So all the powers are in the hand of central government. UAPA applies to both India and the foreign nationals. Apply to both India and foreign nationals. Any foreigner doing something against the India's sovereignty, he can be treated under UAPA. And timely legal action under UAPA, the investigation agency can file charge sheet in the maximum of 180 days. Basically, the investigation agency, either the police or CBI or NIA, they are given time up to 6 months, 180 days to file charge sheet. But however, we have seen over time that this time is also extended. By taking court's permission, the agency, they can extend the time to file the charge sheet. In Omar Khalid case also, the charge sheet is filed in years, not in 180 days. Clear? So what can the exam trap say regarding UAPA? It is enacted after 2008 Mumbai attack. This is wrong. It was enacted in 1967. Applies only to organizations, not individuals. This again wrong. Apply to both organizations and individuals. Then administered by Ministry of Defense, wrong. Ministry of Home Affairs. Bail provisions same as normal. Now this is wrong. The bails are very strict in UAPA related laws. Only courts can designate terrorists. No, not only courts, the government. Basically here, central government can designate terrorist also. Clear? So these can be some of the exam tips. Keep in mind. Coming to the third topic. Now Raghav Chadha, who has recently defected from Aam Aadmi Party to BJP, and he has been made chairman of Rajya Sabha's Committee on Petitions. Basically, this is a parliamentary committee. There are several parliamentary committees, your standing committees, ad hoc committees. One of the committee is your Committee on Petitions. In Rajya Sabha, basically the separate committee is in Lok Sabha, one separate is in Rajya Sabha. In Rajya Sabha, there are 10 members, all nominated by the chairman. For that committee, Raghav Chadha has been nominated as the head. After reconstituting the Committee of Petitions, the Rajya Sabha chairman, C.P. Radhakrishnan, nominated 10 members. Clear? Now, see, first you understand the classification of parliamentary committees in India. These are broadly, they can be classified into standing committee and ad hoc committees. Standing committees are permanent, which remain there throughout the year. Ad hoc committees are created for some time, for a specific purpose. Once that purpose is solved, they are dissolved. Clear? So some of the famous committees, standing committees, are your financial committees like Public Accounts Committee, which is one of the oldest, Estimates Committee, Public Committee on Public Undertaking, which looks after the finances of the government PSUs. Then you have department-related standing committees. Every department has standing committees which look after their budget, their work and provisions. Then you have other standing committees like Business Advisory Committee, Privilege Committee, House of General Purpose Committee. One of these other purpose committees, Committee on Petitions, which is this. Then ad hoc committees are created for specific purpose and cease to exist after task completion. That means once the task is done, they are then dissolved. Clear? Now coming to these parliamentary committees of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, the objective is to examine petitions submitted by citizens on any public grievance, any pending bill in the parliament, either Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, any policies of the government or any matter of public importance. If these petitions are coming to the government by the citizens, they have to be examined by this committee. Clear? They are not constitutional committees. Remember this thing. They are formed under rules of procedure of parliament. They are not constitutional, created by the rules of parliament. So they are kind of executive committees. The composition, there are separate committees in both Lok Sabha and Lok Sabha you have 15 members. Rajya Sabha you have 10 members. Clear? Rajya Sabha choti hoti hai, they have 10 members. Lok Sabha is, the strength of Lok Sabha is higher, so they have 15 members. Appointed by, the members are mostly nominated by Speaker in case of Lok Sabha and Chairman in case of Rajya Sabha. So they nominate for 1 year. Every year new committee is constituted. So for the next 1 year, Rajya Sabha, this committee on petitions, it will be headed by Raghav Chadha. Next year it will be headed by somebody else. Now, what this committee on petitions do, it functions basically to scrutinize petitions submitted by the people, to suggest remedial measures. If a good suggestion is given by a person, they can suggest for government policy that you can tweak this policy like this. They can give suggestions to the government. They enhance citizen participation in the parliamentary process. Now, this is one of the core features of democracy, where citizens are the participant in the parliamentary functioning. The nature is advisory. The recommendations are not binding. Government can decline their recommendations. The restrictions, they basically have some restrictions. They cannot deal with matters pending before the court. So only those matters will come to them which are not pending before court. The committees to inquire, basically, there are parliamentary committees to inquire. Under this committees to inquire, you have 3 committees: Committee on Petition, Committee on Privileges, and Ethics Committee. So we are right now seeing the Committee on Petitions. Clear? Now some of the other functions of these parliamentary committees together, they are scrutiny and oversight of the parliamentary bills, policies, and government functions in detail. They provide expert consultations. They can consult experts, take their views, and give recommendations to the government. They hold the government accountable also. If they find anything which is not proper in the government bills and acts, they can provide measures. they are accountable by reviewing the actions of the government expenditure and policies, ensuring transparency in the functioning of the executive. Clear? So what you need to remember here with respect to prelims, there can be some examples. These are constitutional committees, absolutely wrong. These are non-constitutional committees. Joint committees of both houses, this is again wrong. Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha have separate committees. They have separate committees. The recommendations are not binding. They work under judiciary, this is wrong. They work under the parliament or they work under the ministers. Can examine sub judice matter, this is again wrong. They cannot examine the matter which are in court. Sub judice means the matter is in court. They cannot examine these matters. Clear? So remember these parliamentary. Once have a look in your book regarding all the parliamentary committees. The finance committees in this, like your estimates committee, public accounts committee, and committee on public undertaking. These are the most important 3 committees in this. Clear? Coming ahead to the next topic. Now the Nordic countries are in news. Recently we have covered the India Nordic summit also. So in this matter, what we have to see, what are Nordic countries and what are Scandinavian countries. Sometimes we can get confused between Nordic and Scandinavian countries, although they are used interchangeably, but they are not same. What are Scandinavian countries? Basically, it refers to 3 countries. 3 countries, they include Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. This is your Scandinavian mountains. If you look at the physical map of Europe, these are Scandinavian mountains. This entire peninsula is called Scandinavian Peninsula. Along with Denmark, this Norway, Sweden, and Denmark, these are the 3 countries which together form the Scandinavian countries. Now, Finland is not part of it. Remember this. Sometimes we get confused that Norway, Sweden, and Finland together, they are here. So they are part of Scandinavian. No. Only Norway and Sweden, along with Denmark, are part of Scandinavian Peninsula, not Finland. Finland and Iceland, they are part of Nordic countries. So Nordic countries are 5 countries. Here, this is the difference. What are the basis of these Scandinavian countries? One is that they have shared North Germanic language and cultural history, and they also have geographical linkage also related to Scandinavian Peninsula. This is also an extension of this Scandinavian Peninsula. Clear? So, just your Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. These 3 are your Scandinavian countries. Coming ahead, what are Nordic countries? These are Scandinavian plus Finland and Iceland. So now you have 5 countries. This Norway, Sweden, and Denmark were Scandinavian countries. Now Finland and Iceland are also part of it. Greenland is part of Denmark. So Greenland comes under Scandinavian countries. So 5 countries we have seen. They also include autonomous territories like Greenland. Greenland is part of Denmark. Your Faroe Island. These Faroe Islands, they are again part of Denmark. The Åland Island, these are Åland Islands here. They are part of Finland. Similarly, your Svalbard comes under Norway. They are all part of Nordic countries. Clear? These autonomous territories. Now the basis here is not just geographical and cultural. Apart from geographic and cultural, they have political basis also for cooperation. For this political cooperation, they have created Nordic Council, which together they act as a council and they, you can say, work with other countries. Fine. So remember the difference between Scandinavian and Nordic countries. 5 countries come under Nordic: Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark, and Iceland. Clear? What can be the exam types? Finland is part of Scandinavian countries. This is wrong. Finland is not. We have seen it. All Nordic countries use North Germanic language. This is wrong. North Germanic is used by Scandinavian countries, not Nordic. Scandinavia and Nordic are exactly same. Again, this is wrong. They are not exactly same. Denmark lies on Scandinavian Peninsula. This is wrong. Denmark does not lie on Scandinavia Peninsula, but it is part of Scandinavian countries. Yaad rakhna. Clear? It is just an extension, not entirely on the peninsula. Greenland is an independent Nordic country. Again, this is wrong. Greenland is a territory of Denmark. And why Greenland is also important? Because recently Donald Trump, he talked about acquiring Greenland, taking control of the entire Greenland. Coming to the last topic of today's discussion, it is an international organization, your World Health Assembly. It is basically the highest decision-making body of World Health Organization. Now, why it is in news? The WHO's definition of stroke. Now, what they are doing? the World Health Assembly in its latest meeting, they mark stroke as public health priority for the first time. What is stroke? Basically, strokes when your blood flow to the brain is interrupted either due to blockage of bleeding. This lack of blood, when blood is not going to the brain, it can lead to brain cell death and serious complications. It can be fatal. Basically, your death can also happen because of this stroke. And every year, estimated that stroke affect 12 million people every year. That means 1.2 crore people are affected every year by these strokes, and either killing them or you can say they are partially dysfunctional. Clear? So strokes has been declared as public health priority for the first time by World Health Assembly. Now, what is World Health Assembly? We have to see this. It is the highest decision-making body which meets annually in Geneva, Switzerland, which is also the headquarters of WHO. It's the highest decision-making body of WHO, established along with WHO in 1948, headquartered at Geneva, Switzerland. So every year the meeting happens at one place, Geneva. Then members are all the delegations from all the WHO member states, all the countries who are part of WHO. They are also member of World Health Assembly. Annual meeting happens in Geneva. They determine WHO policies. They approve budget for WHO. They appoint the Director General of WHO here, and they review the global health issues. For example, right now Ebola crisis is going on in Congo and Uganda. They review these situations. Every country has one vote, so one country, one vote system is applied for taking decisions. Now, it functions as setting policies, appointment, as we have seen. The Director General is elected in the World Health Assembly by a secret ballot, and one person can be reappointed only once also. That means he can have 2 tenure at maximum and serves for 5 years. So any Director General cannot serve beyond 2 terms. Clear? Now, what more we need to remember? What are the important topics discussed here? The pandemics, vaccine, universal health coverage, and international health regulations. So they not only look after just the pandemics, they also look after the vaccination issues. Let's say if a least developed country somewhere in Africa, they require vaccination for any issue. The vaccination required during COVID times, they were also overseen by the World Health Assembly. What is the India's role? India is an active WHO member participating in the health diplomacy every year. And the special features include they can adopt global health resolutions and frameworks. Now, what we have to remember here is World Health Assembly is a UN General Assembly body. This is wrong. This is a WHO body. Clear? It meets every 2 years. No, it meets every 1 year. Located in New York. No, it is located in Geneva. One only health minister can participate. Now, this is again wrong. Health minister can participate, or any other representative from a country can also participate in the World Health Assembly. WHO and WHO are the same institution. Now, this is wrong. WHO is a bigger institution. World Health Assembly is only the highest decision-making body of WHO. These things you have to remember. Clear? So that's it from my side, guys. Now, make sure you write the answers and do the quiz which is provided to you. I'll see you in the next discussion. Thank you.